Good morning. Welcome to my craft room. This is Kat at inkingpaperwithkat.com. Today's project is this small bag that has autumn leaves on it, and one of the leaves is actually textured, even though there is not an embossing folder that goes with it. So the point of today's project is to learn how to emboss that so that you can get more use out of your thinlits and framelits. So let's get started. Let's look at the supplies that we need. We are going to be using the DSP wood textures. We are using a scrap of cardstock in crushed curry, pumpkin pie, whisper white, and early espresso. We need ink in old olive, pumpkin pie, and chocolate chip. We're going to use 2 stamp sets. We're going to use the Colorful Seasons, and we want this outlined leaf. We are also using Eastern Beauty for our sentiment, Enjoy Today. And we need our framelits, the Seasonal Layers thinlits. So let's get started. We are going to start by cutting out our leaves. And to do that, we need our big shot, but first you'll notice that one of these leaves, there you go, actually has the veins on it. So let's stamp those so that we know where we're cutting. And we are going to use pumpkin pie on crushed curry, ink up our stamp. Make sure you apply some force and let it sit for a few seconds just to absorb the ink. There we've got a great stamped image. Now let's bring our big shot in. You need your magnetic cutting pad, your magnetic cutting plate, a cutting pad, first image, and for that one we need the framelit, and what we're going to do is just line that up. Let's move this a little bit more so you can see. I think if we go out a little. And you're going to line that up as best you can. Trying not to put my head in the camera so that all you see is my head and not what I'm doing. Top cutting pad. And we can roll it through. And there you see we have leaf 1. Alright, leaf 2 we are going to cut out of pumpkin pie. And we're just going to cut the shape initially. So roll that through. And let's set our big shot aside for a minute while we do some inking. So there's our leaf, but we want to give it some depth, and we're going to accomplish that by doing some inking on it. I use a silicone mat, try to keep other surfaces clean. We're going to use all 3 inks. And then I'm using sponge daubers. So I'm going to start with the old olive and just kind of give it a little bit of green in the middle. Then I'm going to go in with pumpkin pie. I want to get the edges really well, but I also want to get some depth of color into the center. And then we are going to use some early espresso just on our tips, just to give it that look like fall is well underway and the leaves are starting to dry out. And you can add as much or as little ink as you want. It is completely up to you. or you can do no ink at all. It's whatever you enjoy. Okay, so we've got our leaf inked up. Now we are going to bring our Big Shot back in. And for this, we actually are going to use a regular cutting plate, not the magnetic plate. So we want our regular cutting plate on. Follow the manufacturer's instructions. We're going to lay this down. We are going to use this little rubber mat. Now, you can get these mats any number of places, but it is just a thin rubber mat that is an impression making mat. We put our leaf down. This time we are going to use the die that has the design on it. And I find it easiest, honestly, to take my leaf and just fit it into the die. And because this is all from the same set, it will fit perfectly. Now I'm going to lay it back down. I'm going to put my cutting plate on top, and we may have to add some shims, but we'll see. And we're going to roll it through. Now you're not going to feel the same amount of resistance that you feel when you are actually cutting, because this isn't cutting, this is embossing. And let me zoom you down, see if you can get a good look. Actually, let's take this and move it aside. Pull this apart. And you can see that that is now beautifully embossed. And all you used was a die set. You did not use any embossing folders. All right, let's go ahead and make our box. Straighten that up so you don't feel like it's crooked. For our box, we need our piece of DSP, our Simply scoreboard. And this is a 6x6 piece, so there's no long or short sides. So on the first side, we are going to score, and make sure you use the big ballpoint, at 1, 2 3/4, 3 3/4, and 5 1/2. Turn it 90 degrees, and you're going to score at 1, 4 3/4. And that is all of your scoring done. So let's fold and burnish. Now you can see that one of these ends is slightly longer than the other. The long end is the top of your box. The narrow end is the bottom of your box. So on the bottom of your box you have one small rectangle in the corner. We're going to remove that. And then we are going to cut up the other score lines. Take a small wedge from both of the small tabs. on this box you can see that it is a fold over flap that comes from the back. And this is the back of your box right here. So we don't need this small rectangle, so let's remove that. And we don't need these three sections, so we're going to take those out. You could do this on your paper trimmer, but a long pair of scissors works fine. So that's what you're left with. I want to round these corners. I just like the look it gives. And I'm going to take my bone folder and slightly curve that at the top, just so I have a slight curve in it. Alright, let's put this together. We can use fast fuse. Fold it over. The front of your box is this piece, so we're going to fold in our sides, fold down the back, fast fuse, and that's your box closed up. So now we're going to take and just put our fingers in the sides and just gently squeeze. And then bring this over. Now you can make it a flat fold if you wanted to, like that. Or you can have that gentle curve that I put in at the top, which is what I want. Just want a little bit of a curve there. Now our little box will hold nicely 3 Hershey nuggets. So it's a nice size little treat. Before I retired, this is the type of thing that I would have left on a staff member's desk who had just gone above and beyond and was doing some really great work, just to say thank you. Alright, now we need to do a closure on this, and we're going to use some Velcro dots, which I forgot to get. Alright, so I've got some Velcro dots. I'm just going to put the two sides together, peel them off. I love these little paper Velcro dots. And we are going to put one on the top of the box and fold it where you want it and adhere the other one. Give them a nice squeeze. Alright, now let's take our leaves and adhere them to our box. You can decide how you want them laying on the box. I kind of want that little falling feeling. So I'm going to adhere them with dimensional. So just a couple. Make sure you're really holding it in place. And there you have it. Alright, let's do our sentiment. For that we are using Whisper White and Early Espresso, and we are using the greeting from the Eastern Beauty. I'm going to stamp it in Early Espresso. I think I need to re-ink my pad. Great. And then we're going to use the 1-inch punch. we're going to punch a circle, 1¼ inch circle from the early espresso. Dimensional on the back of that. Center it. And it is going to go right there, and I'm going to put fast fuse just on the top portion of that. And there you have it, in the Falling Leaves box. I hope you enjoyed this project. I hope you try creating the texture by using your thinlits in a different way. See you soon.